Okay, welcome back. We can get another thing going. We're in the new era here. I don't know what exactly to call it in between. So we had a passage of time, but we're still in the same history phase. Like, I don't know what to call it. So I'm going to call it an era. Maybe the rule book has a term for it and I just missed it. So it's our turn to go. And let's recap. I was actually gone for about 15 minutes here, so let's refresh myself on what's going on. We have this, but for this particular passage of time, it doesn't count against us for purposes of control of the region. The problem is we have a settlement here that does count against us, and I have no way to eliminate that settlement without the right culture card, which I don't have. So it doesn't matter how many Ravage tokens I put on there, I'm not going to be able to remove him. Now, one idea that I have is, let's say I raid the crap out of this, and I put Ravage tokens on here, and now that it doesn't get eliminated after 3 or 4 Ravage tokens, let's say I can put 9 or 10 on there. Well, every time the West activates and does an action, it says if they have a Ravage token, they're going to recover instead. And so here you can see they're going to ding us in culture, which means we're going to lose 2 more points again. And my thought is, if I raid them and put Ravage tokens on them, I'm pretty sure that the culture action, let's check it out. If 1 or more Ravage counters in an enemy space belonging to the active enemy, it's going to execute a recover instruction instead. And so that's a big deal. Recover is remove 1 Ravage counter from any space. If more than 1 counters on an active enemy space, use random selection. So I think some of my strategy is let's raid the crap out of yellow here. So that way when they execute this instruction, they're not actually going to hurt me with it. Instead, all they're going to do is recover. That's my thought. I think it's a pretty cool one. This one over here, this raid is going to hurt us because that's going to create a war column. This one's not going to hurt us. And then that's the only troublesome one in the whole stack until you get way down here to the raid that's just off the camera here. So these 2 raids are the only thing from the north that hurt us. And I'm not as concerned about the south, except the settle here hurts. Because that puts extra column or extra settlements out, and they're so far away, we're not going to be able to reach them to do anything about it. So that's my strategy. Obviously, I also want to put Ravage tokens on that settlement because we need to destroy it during the passage of time so we can get control of the region. I'm not worried about the victory condition check per se, but we do need to do it in order to achieve victory. And right now, if we do a culture action, we're going to get 2 culture points instead of 3 because we don't control a region. And then I also want to get another Rancheria going, preferably in this Red River area here and maybe like up here. And then we can have 3 Rancherias going. And but that's obviously, we're going to require another passage of time. So, I also want to, so we're going to do some raids. We're going to get some captives. Let's make sure we get our medicine rating up with a planning step. So that's the kind of things I think we want to do. We also have 2 Rancherias. And in the past, every time we've done actions, we've only ever had 1. So that's the only one that activates. So now I got to be a little bit more mindful of sometimes when we do actions, it's only going to be on 1 Rancheria and not the other. And so we may have to make some choices there. That's going to be a new thing we're encountering this game. We had 2 Rancherias in the last game, but it got destroyed immediately before we even did anything. I still don't have, I'm at 1 culture point right now, which was not enough to buy. I could have bought like a horsemanship. Let's just think about that. I could have bought something like this. I could have even bought this warfare, which that just lets me put ravaged counters down. That's not a bad option. warfare is actually pretty good. Or I could even buy the spirituality one, which I said I liked, right? And gave me an immediate boost. Could I have bought that before we did the medicine man checks? No, that was at the very end. Okay, so the dilemma is during the last passage of time, did I want to spend one of my culture points to buy this? And my answer is yes. I'm going to do that. So we're at 0 culture points right now. All right, so we're going to start our action. I am concerned about this guy right here. So 2 things are going on in my mind. We can do a culture step right away, which will give us culture points to negate that if it were to happen. And we're going to take a risk that, because we have to draw a token. If we don't draw a success token, they could end up doing an action. Or I can just, from the chute, raid them now. And so let's just start getting ravage tokens on them right away. And the way it would work is I got this guy here with 4 movement points. And you can see he can do 1, 2, but then 3, 4. Yeah, that's awful. So this guy's not going to be great at raiding there. We're going to do actions. So let's start off with actions. So I'm going to put him here and then these 2 here. Okay, so first things first. I'm going to take these 3 captives and a horse with this guy, and we're going to go trade. He has 6 movement points, and then this is 1, 2, 3 movement points, so it's 5, 4, 3 movement points, and then 2 more movement points to move out and back. So he would have 1 movement point left over. Because you can actually go out and like hunt a bison and trade. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with this guy. I could even do like a ravage or like a raid. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So it's 6 movement points. And we're going to spend 2 to go out and back. And we're going to go out to that one up there, the North Tribe. And we're going to trade these 3 captives for 3 food. So we're going to take the 3 food, and that's 3 more movement points. 1, 2, 3. And then I have 1 movement point left, and so I'm actually going to raid that tribe right after I traded with them. And I succeeded. Now that goes out of play, which hurts. To do that right away, that actually hurts. But the good news is I know I'm going to take another captive, and we're going to come back, and he's unfinished. And I'm pretty sure when I do actions, I had to pick 1 rancheria. Yes, I had to choose a rancheria to activate, so I can't activate both of them. That isn't as nice, but that's fine. Okay, so having the success go out of play right away hurts a little bit, but that's fine. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to because I did that trade, there's a whole bunch of captives actually available for us to take. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load Bob. Am I going to load Bob? Yeah, I'm going to load Bob onto a 6 movement guy. Obviously, he needs a horse. And the reason I'm doing that is it's 2 movement points just to get here. So we got 6 movement points total. We have to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 just to go out and back. And then I'm going to get to do 2 raids on the West Settlement here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 raids on this guy. And Bob has a medicine rating of 2. So he needs a miracle roll, but let's try it. Oh, it was a 2, and then it flipped over. All right, and we only get to draw 1 token. So let's draw the 1 token. And it is a success, so we did very well there. And yes, we're going to take a captive. And then we're going to raid one more time. And I did it. I rolled a 1. Okay, that is half of Bob's medicine value. So I get 2 bonus tokens. So now I'm going to get to draw 3 tokens. So 1, 2, I'm getting very lucky. And of course, 4 APs are coming out now, but the 2 successes were very nice. All right, and then since I got 2 more successes, I'm gonna grab 2 more captives. All right, so Bob's, your uncle, is gonna make it back home with a nice haul. Okay, and then 3 successes went on to Bob's planning track for his medicine stuff. Okay, so now I have this 3 strength guy, and he only has 4 movement points. So I'm forgetting something very important here. We have 1 Ravage token on that guy, and then this one is going to get 2 Ravage tokens on it. That's very important. Okay, so I can go get a bison. Actually, really, I can't. So I'm going to actually go and raid with him as well. And we're going to raid the tribe because it's going to cost 2 movement points to go out and back, and then he's going to be able to raid twice. If we went after the settlement, all 4 movement points are spent going out and back. And here's the deal. If I let him get stranded without coming back, I would have to spend action points to bring him home, and I don't have any action points. So it's very important that I don't strand this guy. So we're going to go and raid the tribe 2 times. And yes, I'm doing a lot of raiding, but that's what I want to do. Now here's the deal. I'm drawing 3. Do I really want to do that? Because everything here goes out of play. I don't want to do that, folks. So what else can I do with this guy? What other actions are there? I can trade, but I don't have I don't have anything to trade yet unless I'm spending action points. I can go to a peace space and trade, but then I'm going to be out of movement points. And I can hunt, but that puts me out of movement points as well. Or I can just move to another Comancheria and end my turn there. That's an option. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do anything with this guy. I would love to collect some APs, but there's no empty boxes to the left of him. Yeah, so I'm just not going to do anything. He's just going to sit tight. If I raided, obviously that helps put tokens out or Ravage tokens or whatever. But if I draw any more success tokens, they're going to go out of play. And this is our very first turn. And that means it's going to be miserable from here on out. We're going to be drawing AP stuff for the enemy the whole time. I just don't think that's a good idea. So I'm going to just leave him there. And he's going to remain unfinished. Okay. So this is going to move up. And then now we move to the enemy phase. So we need to get better than a 2. And so we finally got one that goes our way. So they don't get a free action. Now we're drawing to see if they get an action. And they do. So they got 2 more points there. They're up to 6. And then let's roll to see. It's a 4, which means it's the west. So our strategy is working. And then we rolled a 1, which is actually quite perfect because this culture is now a peace. So now that's interesting. Does the peace do a recovery? Because peace would have been, we already have a piece, so a second piece would have actually been really awesome. But I have a feeling that they're going to recover. Yeah, if there's ravage counters in enemy space, they're going to execute a recover instead of a piece. So that hurts us in a way. But we didn't know that was going to happen. So the piece goes over and they remove one ravage token. And then they have 2 enemy APs left. And that's not enough to do a settle. So they're going to end their turn and we're going to give them 2 APs on the track. Okay, so that's it for their turn. So now we go to, well, technically, one of the things that was supposed to happen is all the resources are relinquished. So we have a huge pile of horses here. You know what I could have done is I could have moved him with a bunch of horses over to here so the other Rancheria could have some resources. And then the captives and the food are over there. So it'd be really nice to get some more trading in, maybe take as many food captions as we can, start taking some trade goods. But we are now to the next phase. There's no war column, so it comes back, what do we want to do? If I do a planning step, both of these guys die because they're both unfinished. So the planning step is not a good idea at the moment. Planning, let me just make sure. All finished bands get their strength reduced by 1. So I want to make sure that and that is true no matter where they are. So even if they're not home, it happens. So what's interesting is you almost want to spend a whole turn where you do actions and you don't actually do an action. So therefore they remain unfinished and then they don't get impacted by the planning step. It's really convoluted, but that is one way to do it. And we do need to hit the yellow again because they're down to 1 ravage token. This is obviously not a good plan, piling these all up. Why do I want to plan? Because I have 3 success tokens here and I would like to get these medicine markers to move up because that obviously helps us to get action points, right? Because if this moves up higher, then we have empty spaces here. We could do an action with this guy over here and let's say we did do that. Which ones become... Flip all bands in the activated Rancheria to unfinished. So these guys stay finished, which could hurt us. So we would have to do something to make sure that those guys are no longer in the finished state like that. And the other thing we want to do is maybe just do a culture step. So let's do that. Let's just do culture. So right now I'm going to get 2 culture points. So I'm going to go up by 2, and I am exactly at 2. So now the operations marker is moving up, and just making sure I'm not missing any steps. We're now gonna, there's no check to see if they get a free action, and now we're gonna draw from the cup. And I drew a success. Now here's the deal. I mentioned this before in a previous playthrough. They have 2 action points, so we still do the rolls. So I rolled a 4, which is the west is activating, and then I'm rolling a 5, which means that this one is flipping over, like so. But then with 2 action points, you can see they can't execute the settle, so then the turn ends. They don't actually do anything. So that's good. Okay, next. If I go out and trade, This might work. Yeah, this is going to work. All right, so we're back to the beginning. There's still no war columns. It's our turn. I'm going to look in, how many successes do we really reasonably have in here? I know there's still quite a few. There's obviously a whole bunch of the other bad stuff, but there's still quite a few. Okay. I'm going to do actions again. This is the last, well, hold on. We got this turn and we got one more turn, guaranteed. After that, we're up to the mercy of the dice again. So we have 2 turns left. I want to do actions. I want to get a trade in, and then I want to get a plan step in. So let's do actions, and you're going to see how that's going to play out. So we're going to flip these over. And obviously I have to put everything on the track, so I can't get free action points. Now, one of the things I'm contemplating is I could try to go start a new rancheria, but here's the thing. When I move him out to start a new rancheria, he is going to end his turn finished. So if I do a planning step after that, he will dissipate, and then I lose all the resources he has. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to do an action with 2 guys. This guy's going to stay there. I'm willing to lose one of them, and I'll explain why in a second. But this guy's going to go do the trade. He can move to the tribe, which is right next to us, that one that's in space number 1. So 2 of his movement points is move out, move back. And then he can trade 2 captives. So we're going to do that, and there's exactly 2 food left in the game. So now we have our maximum amount of food. So we can do that. And remember, we still have Rancheria B, which could be doing stuff, and we haven't been doing anything with them. That's okay, but they are available for us to do stuff with. But right now, I'm doing that, and so then, of course, this guy is going to possibly be reduced because he is now finished. Now, why am I doing this? I need to get more Ravage tokens on that settlement. That's why. And so we're going to go and raid with Bob. And obviously, this guy had a horse. And we're going to take a horse, of course, because his name is Mr. Ed. And we know we're going to spend 4 movement points to move out and back. So that means we have 2 raids we're going to get to do. And if Bob rolls a 1, he gets 2 bonus draws. If Bob rolls a 2, he gets 1 bonus draw. So let's go ahead and roll for Bob. And of course we rolled crap. We're going to draw 1. So let's see what we get. And of course we get 2 enemy APs. So let's roll again for Bob. And Bob rolls crap again. And we rolled a success. Excellent. So that goes into the medicine track. And a second Ravage token goes onto the settlement, which is also good. And we come home. And we're going to take another captive. You're starting to get I'm just taking captives like mad. We're going to end up in the history books as some very bad dudes. Okay. All right. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss any steps. Operation track is moving up to here, which, like I said, we're going to get 1 more guaranteed turn. And then after that, we're at the mercy of the dice. Everything's relinquished. We do have 2 finished dudes that could be impacted. And the horses go back. And we have another set of captives. All right, now they have 2 here and then 2 over there. So they do have 4 points. And they have a settle command, which is very unsettling, pun intended. But because of the Ravage token, I think they're not actually going to settle. But we don't know if they're the ones that are going to actually activate. So let's find out. Let's see if they get a free instruction. And they do get a free instruction. So let's roll on who's going to do it. It's technically it's on the board, so I'm going to roll again. And I rolled a 3 again anyway. So that is the West, and they're going to get a free instruction. So let's roll one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. This flips back over. So the free instruction is a settle. The settle isn't going to do anything because of the Ravage token, I believe. Correct. So they're going to get rid of one of the 2 Ravage tokens we have on them because of the settle. Now this is going to hurt us because if we roll the West one more time, they're going to get rid of all their Ravage tokens, and we're not going to get rid of that settlement during the passage of time. But let's try again. Oh, we got to draw from here. And we drew 4 enemy APs. That's not good. All right, now let's roll to see who it is. And it is the West. So they're going to get rid of all their Ravage tokens. They suck so bad. Okay, let's roll. I rolled a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That culture flips back over to peace. And now we're going to spend some APs here. So we're going to spend 4 to do subjugate. And that gives them 1 leftover. Mindy, stop. No. Sorry, my dog was misbehaving. Come on. All right. We never see subjugate very often, and I don't think it's going to do anything because all it's going to do is remove the Ravage marker. But what they do is they're attacking a North tribe, which we sort of like in a way, but it's not going to work here. So subjugate is just going to remove the last Ravage token. So that goes away. And then, yes, the settle is going to happen. And that's 3 points. And they still have 2 points left. And the war is not going to happen. So I'll go ahead and put everything back. So they are going to do a settle. And I need to read what's happening here because we don't have any yellow lines. Place 1 available settlement belonging to an active enemy into a round map space. Any bison return to stock. Must comply. Nearest to active enemy square. Use only enemy connections when tracing route. If more than one space can receive, choose the lowest value. If the active enemy does not have an available settlement counter to place or cannot place due to stacking, execute a subjugate instruction instead. All right, I think they're going to do subjugate because my logic being is they can only go along yellow lines. That's the whole point of use only enemy connections when tracing route. Let's make sure that that is what enemy connections mean. I'm going to check the little dictionary thing here. Enemy connections. Yellow, green, and blue colored connections between map spaces constitute enemy connections. Subjugate and settle can only occur along those connections. So I think it's just preventing the settlements from going hog wild. All right, so subjugate. Select a tribe that's nearest. Use only enemy connections. If there's more than one tribe counter, select the one on the lowest value space. So that would be this one. Okay. Yeah, so it says, there's a big long thing on what you do if there's no tribe to select, but all it does is it's destroying the tribe, but it does not put a settlement. So the tribe is just removed, and now if another settlement action occurs, then they would have a place to go. So it did get rid of a North tribe, which for now helps us, but maybe later it won't. But yes, yellow, the West group is a very troublesome thing because if they ever get a culture action or instruction, we're going to lose 3 culture. Okay, so we now are at the end. We move to the beginning. There's no war columns. This is our final action we get to do that's guaranteed. And I have to do a planning. I guess I don't have to, but that's what I want to do. So we're going to do a planning. And yes, I am going to lose one of my bands, but we're going to spend food and stuff to get that kind of stuff back. So let's go through the planning steps and get this done. Sorry. All right. Step 1. Each bob with a success marker and a medicine track gets +1. So what would have been really nice is if I would have rated once with the other guy, but this guy goes up by +1. Then we select a rancheria with in-play success markers. So that would be A. And this is something that could repeat. So if we had success markers on all of them, we would be able to do all of them. Okay, so we transfer 1 to the Paraibo, and then 1 goes to the track. And we're going to go ahead and put it on the start space. No, we don't have to do that. Or we'll put it on a 4. Start space made no sense because during passage of time, anything on the operation track goes back in the cup anyways. Okay, so, but by doing that, his value goes up by 1. Then we put 1 on the Paraibo, and then he goes up by 1 more, and then this goes on space number 5. Okay, and each rancheria with a success marker on the medicine track, he goes up by +1 per success. So now we're cooking with Pam, and I really want some more turns. I do not want a passage of time because look at all the action points we're going to get. Okay, so that moves up, and each in-play Paraibo may conduct 1 headman action or attempt to make more than 1. So that's what's really cool about having 2 rancherias is he gets to take an action, and so does he. So first things first. So for the actions, they each get 1, or we can roll a die. And as long as we roll his value or less, we get that many actions. So for this guy, it's a 50-50 shoot. Actually, it's a little bit in his favor because, well, no, it's 50-50. So he's going to just take his 1 action, and we'll roll a die for this guy. So let's roll. And if I roll a 6, I'm getting angry. All right, I rolled a 3. So we're going to get 3 actions with him and 1 action with the other guy. So let's look at our actions again. All right. If the medicine is 2 or more, which it is for both guys, I can subtract their medicine by 1 and then give us an AP. That's not the worst thing in the world. The other thing is we can spend AP to buy development. We don't even have an AP, but since we get 4 actions, we could sort of play a game and do that. This one, we can play to place 2 ravage counters on any tribe or 1 ravage counter on each of 2 tribes. Now, here's the problem with this one, is it's tribe. It's not a settlement. So we want to get a ravage counter on the Western settlement. That's a settlement, not a tribe. But it's still a nice one, and I think I want to do it because otherwise the passage of time bumps twice, right? We don't want to do that. The other one is the French traders, which I think is really cool, but it's only going to be helpful to us if we get to go again. We don't know if we're going to get to go again. So that's the issue there. All right. We can spend an AP to return these success markers back into the cup. And there's what? 1, 2, 3 of them there. Or if our culture is greater than military, which it's not, we could get a military point. So we are actually quite limited. We have 4 actions. And for the first guy, I am going to lose a medicine to get an AP. That part is true. And then for the next guy, we have 3 actions. So we can lose a medicine to get an AP, or we can spend an AP to buy a card, which I will do. I'll buy this card. So now we're back to 0, and I still have 2 actions left. And to be quite honest, unless I'm willing to lose some medicine points, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I like having him this high because if I get to do an action, I mean, look, this guy's going to die off, so I'm going to have 2 guys left, right? I put 2 guys here. This guy is going to get 1, 2, 3 action points. That's pretty awesome. But let's say, what if we go to passage of time, because this is our last turn. If we go to passage of time, this could drop again, because remember, these guys die off. So maybe it doesn't hurt to spend him to get some action points. I still have 2 more headman actions to do. It would have been nice to get some military points, but I sort of screwed up there. So what do I want to do? I probably shouldn't have rolled the die. I only needed 2 actions to do what I just did. I'm going to forfeit them. I'm not going to go down. I'm going to stay there. Maybe that's a stupid move, but I just... action points are nice. I just think I'm going to get them some other way. I really need more turns. Having another passage of time is going to really kill me. Yeah, I'm going to gamble. I'm going to gamble that we're going to get more turns. So let's... what I need to start trading for is trade goods, so I can roll again whenever I do that roll. That's where the trade goods, I think, really become helpful. So, but that requires action points. Okay, roll die for each bob that's in play with a medicine rating of 0. That's not the case. All finished bands get their strength reduced by 1. So this guy becomes a 2. And then this one is gone. The player, I guess they stay finished. It doesn't say, but I'm going to assume they stay finished. The player may move the Rancheria counter. This actually is very helpful. So if we do get one more turn, this is very helpful. So I can move this Rancheria counter, because I have 3 strength, so I can move 3 spaces. But I want to move up, so that way we can raid the crap out of that settlement. And then this other one, I don't know if I want to move yet. I mean, obviously, if I move closer to here, I can raid that way. Right now, I'm next to the bison. I do have a 3 strength guy, so... The only restriction is we're just not able to go into an enemy space. That's it. So I like where he's at. I don't know if I want to move him next to the enemy or not. Because if I move him next to the enemy, then a war column can go right after him. I'm going to leave B alone. B will stay right where it's at. But yes, we're moving A up. So we can try to take out this, this settlement and not have so many movement points to do so. Okay, the enemy does get to execute a free instruction, and then we have to roll a die to see if the passage of time is going to occur. So let's do the free instruction first. I rolled a 6, which means the south is activating. And then I rolled a 6 again, so their culture is flipping. And the south is going to do a settle for its free instruction. And I think we had this situation before. And going along the green lines, it's going to take the lower value. So it can't go here. This is 2 spaces away, so it goes there. All right, so the south going was an interesting choice. And now the big test. Are we going to end or not end? We need a high number. Oh, look. We survived. So this is moving up to 4, and this goes into the success bucket. And we do get to live for another day. So now I want to set myself up to start another Rancheria. I want to do that. And I want to ravage the crap out of the guy next to me. So we're gonna, yes, that's a technical term. So let's do that. But here's the thing. The enemy gets to go possibly one more time because we have to draw here. So let's hope that we're okay. And we're not okay. I just drew 2 enemy APs. So if we end up activating the west, they're going to create a war band or war column, and then our life is going to get miserable. Okay, so I rolled a 2, which means the north activates. That's not as bad. And the north has an ally action, which is good for us. So this is 2 APs. And then we're going to spend 1 more from the off-camera track, which means they have 1 left, and they're going to do an ally. So that actually worked out very much in our favor. Oh, I forgot to roll. The 6 is what would have flipped, so this raid flips over. That's even better. Okay, so the ally happens. And that's going to be a tribe that's nearest to a rancheria, which we have one that's 2 spaces away here. We have one that's 3 spaces away there. Or we can do the one that's ravaged. That's interesting. Oh, he's ravaged. He's not allying with us. He's removing the ravage token. That sucks, actually. So yeah, good thing we're having another turn. If we would have had a passage of time, that would have hurt us very badly because we would have lost a military point. Okay, so there's still no war columns. We're on to a new turn, and I do not want a plan. I actually would like to do a culture step. However, I need to do actions because we got to get ravage tokens out. So I'm going to do the action step. Like I said, I would love to do the culture step. We're actually not high on culture, but I need to do actions. So we're going to do actions with the same rancheria we've been doing actions with. And we got this situation here. And this guy is going to take 1, 2, 3 action points. So getting 3 action points is pretty awesome. And then this guy is actually going to raid with Bob. So Bob's going to go out with my uncle, and we're going to raid the enemy settlement. Actually, do I want to not get action points and go raid the other guy? And the answer is probably no, because these success tokens are sort of locked up. So we don't have that many. So to do this, I have 5 movement points. 2 of them are going to be spent to go out and back. And so I have 3 raids I get to do. And my medicine rating is a 5. So I better damn well get extra bonus tokens. And there it is, I got 2. So I'm going to get 2 bonus tokens. So I'm going to get to draw 4. I don't know if I want to draw that many enemy action points, but I think I'm going to get a lot here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jesus. Okay, so 3 success tokens goes on to Bob's track. This actually hurts me a bit because I do get to put a ravage token down, but now I have to get a success to put more ravage tokens down. So we're going to raid one more time. I rolled a 6, so I don't get a bonus token there. And so I'm only drawing 2. And there's 1. I'll take that because it's the success that I need. So we had 2 successes. And then there's the 3rd. So that gets me another ravage token on the settlement, which is what I really wanted. So now I can do 1 more to try to get a 3rd ravage token on there. Or I could end up ruining my day. And how many success tokens are we looking at here? Look how this is bad. There's 1 I see so far. Oh my gosh, there's 2 success tokens out of all these. What do you think, folks? I think that's very bad odds. He's going to get 8 action points. He has 9, and he only has 2 Ravage tokens on him. I now can appreciate why this card is good. Because here I could just be spending movement points equal to my strength. But see, I still have to make a success check to put a Ravage token on. But the good news is that success marker goes back in the cup. Yeah, I don't understand this at all. I mean, spending movement points equal to my strength for something that may or may not succeed seems really risky. That's actually that's not a good card at all. But I did do my job. I put 2 Ravage tokens on. Here's the problem. With 8 enemy action points here, he's easily going to be able to execute 2 instructions, and he'll heal both of them, assuming that he activates. That's the problem. The other thing I can do is, instead of taking the 3 action points, is I can try to raid some more, but like I said, all those success tokens are gone. And I don't like my odds of, there's only 2 success tokens in this cup to do another raid. If I draw even more action points, this could get really crazy. Obviously, there's a chance that it'll be somebody else and not yellow that goes. And that's nice. I mean, there's no argument there. I only have 1 movement point left. I need a Ravage counter to stay. Man, this is just brutal. There's just not enough success tokens. I shouldn't have brought Bob with me. I think that's part of the problem. By bringing Bob, I ended up drawing all the success tokens that first time. I mean, look, I ended up getting 1, 2, 3, 4 success tokens, which is awesome. But I wanted to get 3 Ravage tokens, not necessarily 4 successes. That was my mistake, folks. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Well, I think at the moment, if I draw west with these 8 APs, they're going to heal both of the Ravage tokens, and I'm screwed. So I'm going to do one more raid. I have to get another Ravage token. So I got a 2, so I'm going to get to draw 4 tokens. And I understand the point. I'm going to draw so many action points out of here that even if I put a 3rd Ravage token, I'm still screwed. But now I have to just bank on the fact that it's going to be someone else that we roll. So if I do that, then what good is it to do this raid? I mean, I'll get another horse, which I don't even need. You know what? Even though that succeeded, I'm going to look at that was in my hand. I'm going to pass. That was what I was attempting to say. And so yes, we're going to go back, Jack, and do it again. Wheels turning round and round. And flip this over to finished. And I just realized something. I have this card. Play from hand to place 2 Ravage counters on any tribe or 1 Ravage counter on each of 2 tribes. So I'm not going to get screwed by the Ravage counter. So I would like to get rid of that yellow settlement, of course, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I can at least do this and get rid of 2 tribes. So I think what I'm going to do is it'd be really nice to get control of another region. So I'm going to put a Ravage counter on both of these north tribes way down here, out of the hope that we can get rid of them. And no matter what, so if let's say we roll for north, they'll obviously get rid of 2 of these, and then we'll get rid of the settlement. If we draw for west, they'll get rid of these 2, and we'll at least get rid of 2 for that. I think it's a win either way, right? Okay, and no matter what, there's going to be a ravage token that survives the passage of time. That's the key thing. Okay, we finished our actions. Now we got to roll for a free instruction. Crap. They get one. So it is going to be west, and we're flipping over 3, which was the settle command. So their free instruction is war. So obviously, war is not going to actually happen because they're going to get rid of a ravage token instead. So the war is just going to come back down to here. Now we're going to draw from the cup. And we drew a success. Well, that helps. And by the way, the resources are relinquished here. And we have ourselves quite a few captives. So we're going to be able to get some awesome trading in. Okay, so let's roll and see who's going to get to do the action points. It is the West. So exactly what we predicted is happening. And it is number 2, which was the war. This is important because that was going to create a war band for them, or column. Oh, that's even worse. But, okay, so 4 enemy action points for peace. The peace is not going to happen because they're healing a ravage counter. Then 4 enemy action points for settle. And that is going to happen. And yellow, if they ever do a culture action, is just going to destroy us. So that's going into Rio Grande. And they do have 1 action point left, but that's not going to do them any good. And that brings us to a conclusion. So I was supposed to, before we did any of this, do our roll to see if the passage of time is going to happen. So we actually would have known by now, because this is supposed to happen at the end of my actions. I always forget to do that. So right now the roll is 4 or less. Passage of time is occurring. So I need a 5 or a 6 to keep it going. And I rolled a 3. So it does go to the passage of time, and that is going to be the next thing that happens. Okay, so there's no war column. We skip all that, and now passage of time is going to happen. All right, I'm at 52 minutes. I'm going to hit stop. We're going to do another video. See you in 2 seconds. Stay awesome.